Hello, this is Module 12 for Business Communications, a very important module because we're going to be going over resumes and cover letters. So resumes are super important to get you guys where you want to be in your career. And you really need to spend time on this. We have the Career Center on campus, free resource. So please reach out to them if you need help writing your resume after going through this lecture and assignment. So we'll just start right off. What is a resume? A resume is a document that summarizes your skills, experience, and educational background. Employers look at resumes to find qualified employees. Who needs a resume? Everyone does. Everyone who wants a job needs a resume. And why is a resume important? It's like an advertisement that sells you to an employer. It's almost always the first step to getting an interview. So how have resumes changed with technology? So today, resumes can be created with word processing software. Many employers now only accept resumes submitted through email or the web, where you could just upload your resume. What makes a good resume? A good resume should tell your story. It should demonstrate professional growth and development. A good resume needs to be thorough yet concise. And how long does an employer typically look at a resume? This is important here. Less than 1 minute. You must make a good first impression. So I highly recommend just using a Word template. As students, you guys have access to Word for free. There's a ton of free resume templates, cover letter templates where you can make it look very professional. All the fonts, colors, all that sort of things in there. You do want to keep it basic and simple though, unless you're applying for like a graphic design position or something. You want to be very simple. Also, when you upload your resume to a website, usually it takes out all the design features anyway, so employers don't see all the fanciness that you've put into your resume. So just kind of a tip on that. So the different parts of a resume. Please pay attention to this slide here. What slide are we on? Number 6. When you create your resume for your assignment, I want to see your resume in this order, okay? So we start with your contact information, professional summary and objective, employment history, educational background, other skills, non-work experience, and references. However, it is now known to actually leave your references off of your resume. You don't need this anymore. Unless they ask for it, leave the references off. So that's like kind of new for you guys. So please create your resumes in this order here. Your contact information. Your name should be written in a large bold font. Use a permanent address that can be reliably to receive mail. However, you're really not going to receive mail anymore these days. This is kind of old school. And with your address, don't put your entire address. Just put your city and state. You don't need to put your entire address here. That's kind of for safety reasons as well. Use an appropriate personal email address. I've kind of gone over this before. If you have an old school email address or something from high school that says something like skategirlsrock@yahoo.com, don't use that. It is not professional. You need to use a professional email like your first and last name @gmail.com. If you don't have a Gmail account with a professional email, get one now. It's free, guys. You just go to Gmail and you create a free professional account, and don't forget to check your email. Do not use a school account either, because when you're done with school, you're not going to have that email. You may as well start a professional email account now. So your professional summary and your objective. So if you're looking back at slide 6, see the order we got here. Contact info. Now we're talking about professional summary and objective. Here's kind of an example of one. You want it short and sweet. You don't need to have it very lengthy. Experienced, resourceful, and effective retail manager with proven proficiency in all aspects of boutique management. Cutting-edge merchandiser with expert ability in combining innovative display techniques with visual standards and sales strategies in order to achieve optimal retail success. Top-selling sales associate who regularly exceeds client expectations by building ongoing quality relationships. That is an example of a great professional summary objective. So think about it. It may take you a while to go through this and to create one. You can do some Googling and see what other people have and kind of, create your own. So here's kind of how you start your professional summary. Besides doing a little Googling and seeing what other people do, do not copy what someone else does. Only Google what other people do for inspiration, okay? Professional summary. A paragraph format includes 3 to 4 sentences written in the third person without I or your name. Okay, I don't want to see any professional summaries with the letter I in it. Use adjectives, verbs, and other focus keywords that match qualifications for the sought position. Describe the scope of roles, responsibilities, achievements, and career highlights. Now, this might be a little difficult if you have a lot because your professional summary should only be 3 to 4 sentences. So we'll take some practice on writing that. Here's another one, a little shorter one. This is more of an objective instead of a summary. To contribute acquired bookkeeping and office management skills to an organization offering opportunities for advancement. So a sentence, one sentence, but it has a lot of info in it. I recommend at least 2 sentences though. 1 sentence is kind of short. So your objective, I would shoot for 2 sentences minimum. Here's another kind of example here of contact information. So this is my resume. I think I've changed it a little bit. This is probably an older screenshot, but if you notice, I just have an email address. I don't even put city and state, and that works for me because all of my clients for my business are remote anyway. I work remote, so I don't need people to know what city I'm in, right? I can take on a client on the East Coast, in Texas, in New York. It doesn't matter. So feel free to read this one. Work history is the next thing you want, or experience. And you want this in chronological order. You want to have the most recent job at the top or first. And if you're still currently at the job, you would just put the date, like started 2020 to present. Include measurable accomplishments. So what I mean by this is don't say, oh, I answered the phones all day long. Say I answered a minimum, an average of 100 calls per day in an 8-hour shift. So measurable accomplishments. You want to put numbers in there, metrics, statistics. Good for people with steady work history, putting in the chronological format. If you're a student and you don't have a bunch of work history, that's totally okay. Not a problem at all. The functional format showcases skills and accomplishments first and lists your employers second. I actually don't recommend this functional format, but just so you know that this is an option, I recommend the chronological format, and it's easier to write as well. So this omits the exact state's works, divide employers into present and past. This format works well for people who have gaps in the work history, older applicants who don't want to reveal their age, people who have held lots of jobs in a short amount of time, and younger workers who don't have extensive experience. Another thing, if you don't have a lot of work experience, you could put in here an internship that you've done. That's always great. Maybe you had some really crazy volunteer experience where you went above and beyond and you were working, volunteering 30 hours a week, 20 hours a week for something. If you're struggling with this, you can email me and I can help you. So here's an example of work history. We got Digital Solutions Project Manager. So that's the title. The company, L&L Printers, the location, Carlsbad, California, and the date, 2007 to 2011. Now, if you read through this, there are some numbers here that show metrics. So a key leader in successfully creating and launching the digital department in 2007. So you put the year when you started, you launched, this person launched a whole department. Built from scratch to manage 92 web to print storefronts. So you have a number in there. You don't just say, oh, I built storefronts. No, how many did you build? Be proud of that number. You built 92 storefronts and you're proud of it. Director of technical support and customer service teams, facilitated meetings and demos with prospects. So not every task or accomplishment is going to have a metric or number, but try to put in as many as you can. Educational background. This should include your school name, location, degree earned, major, graduation date, GPA if it's higher than a 3.0, honors accomplishment, relevant coursework. So if you're currently still in school, you can put here, Bachelor of Arts, Visual Media Arts. So Bachelor of Arts is the degree, Visual Media Arts is the discipline, University of California, San Diego is a school, graduation date, Or you could put in this section here, expected graduation 2022. Okay, so you can always use that word, expected graduation. So always have your education in here. Your internships, if you had some good internships, put those in here as well. Me personally, I don't know what my GPA was. So this is my resume. If you haven't already noticed, this is my resume that I'm using an example here. I personally don't know my GPA at all when I was in school, so I'm leaving that part out. I was not smart enough for honors, so I don't have any honors in there. But I did go to 2 schools and I graduated, and I had 2 amazing internships that I learned a lot from, and they were both paid, so that was great. Other skills, non-work experience, and references. So other skills, languages, level of fluency. So if you're bilingual, trilingual. Computer and other technical skills, such as, if you're going for a receptionist, secretarial job, you want to put your typing speed in there. The software, Microsoft Office, operating systems, industry-specific software, computer languages, so if you know how to write certain code. Professional associations, if you're a part of certain groups like the Chamber of Commerce, or maybe you're the president of a club on campus, right? Non-work experience, volunteer experience. This could be senior experience projects, certain research projects. Again, if you're a part of any group on campus that you did volunteer servicing for, maybe you were a tutor in the writing center, all that is good stuff to put in your resume here. Resume writing strategies. So the content or the how to write a resume part. You want to be concise. Keywords research, detail oriented, accuracy, audience. If you're having issues with keyword research, start looking at job postings. So say you want to be a marketing coordinator, right? But you don't know what keywords to use. Maybe you know a few, but you need some inspiration. So go look up marketing coordinator on Indeed.com and see what keywords the job postings are using. And if you have those skills already, add those to your resume. So let's see if I can find an example here. So if you're looking to be a production coordinator and the job posting asks for graphic design skills, web design skills, and you're like, hey, I totally have that. Make sure it's in your resume, web and graphic design for all marketing materials, right? So you're kind of going backwards in a way, but it's great keywords to use because they look for those keywords, especially the when you apply online and you just upload a resume, they have software that scans your resume for keywords. So you want to make sure you have those keywords in there. Design or make it look pretty. So bullet points, white space, alignment, font size, style, spelling, and headers. Make sure everything is spelled correctly. So if you see here, everything is formatted. It's professional. There's not a bunch of junk in here or a bunch of colors and different fonts. It's just very professional looking. I think the only color I use is right here in the top of my resume, but it's very professional, but it looks, pretty, I guess. Avoid or don't do this. So don't do any of these things. Lies. You don't want to lie on your resume, okay? Multiple fonts. You want to keep it as simple and easy to read as possible. Pictures. The only time you use pictures if you are maybe a graphic designer or a web designer or some sort of artist and you're using a photo. Otherwise, you don't use pictures in your resume. Overly personal information. Stick to what the job posting is and what you're going to do, all right? Be professional. Salary. You don't want to put salary on your resume. That's something you talked about in person during your interviews. Misspellings and other typos. That's going to be the first thing that a hiring manager is going to look at is typos. There is so much software out there now that looks and catches and proofreads typos. So always have that. Like there's one called Grammarly. It's free that you can put on your computer. You can also have someone else proofread your resume. Go to the Career Center, have them proofread your resume so that you're staying away from any typos and that you don't get caught in that. Okay, so moving on to cover letters. Not every job application is going to need a cover letter. It's so different these days. Usually the job postings online, they don't ask for cover letters now. Some of them do, so you want to be prepared. So a cover letter is a potential employer's first impression of you and can be the most vital part of the application packet. A well-written letter entices the employer to read your resume. A poorly constructed cover letter may doom your resume to the no need to read pile. That's the pile you don't want to be in. It's important to highlight your skills, knowledge, and experience. These will indicate what you can contribute to the company. Effective cover letters must convey a sense of purpose and project enthusiasm. So if a job application is looking online that you upload to is asking for a cover letter, upload it. Anytime you're emailing someone for a job posting, so if you see a job somewhere, or maybe you had a connection within your network and says, email me your resume, when anyone asks you to email them their resume, add a cover letter to that. So the parts of a cover letter, you're going to have your heading, inside address, salutation, introductory paragraph. So tell them why you're writing them. And then your first main paragraph is going to describe your qualifications. Sell your skills and knowledge, tell why you're interested in the company, point out any related experience you have. Your signature, name, and LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn already, you better make one. Now is the time to create your LinkedIn. All hiring employees look at your LinkedIn now. So it's great to have your link to your LinkedIn in your cover letter. And your enclosure, this indicates that you have enclosed other items, resume, transcripts, etc. for the reader to use. This rarely ever happens, but sometimes it does. You might have a job posting that says, email me your resume, cover letter, and samples. You know, maybe you're a graphic designer and it's asking for you to send some samples. Or maybe you're a writer and it's asking for samples. So that would be other enclosed items. I don't think I've ever applied for anything that asked for transcripts, but perhaps an internship would ask for that. So here are some additional resources on how to create cover letters and resumes. Here are the links here. If you have any questions, email me. But however, the Career Center on campus is going to be your best resource for resumes and cover letters. They know way more than I do, but I would be happy to answer any questions that I can. Also, with your cover letters, make sure that it's short and sweet. You don't want it to be too long and lengthy. I would say half a page max. Oh, I guess I missed this slide here. Second main paragraph for your cover letter. Sorry about that. Continue to describe qualifications, highlight relevant training or classes that relate to the job for which you are applying for. Closing paragraph, close by thanking the reader and requesting an interview. Complimentary close, and then we go to signature. So sorry, I must have skipped that slide, but yeah, make sure your cover letter is short and sweet, and you have all these parts here. And if you have any issues, again, go to the Resource Center, the Career Center, or email me. So your assignments for Module 12 are going to be Quiz 9, Resumes and Cover Letters, Analytical Report Project Step 2, which is your Works Cited page. And all the information for how to do this is on Canvas.